This is an interesting topic. When you have someone who believes in superstition, how do we understand, how do we respond to that? Do we believe that their beliefs can affect us? So obviously, whatever you feel is what you feel, and you'll realize later on that your beliefs will affect the reality. But after you advance enough, you kind of realize that if someone believes in something, it could affect you. So if you go to a pharaoh's tomb, the pharaoh's tomb will end up being dangerous if there's a curse on it. Not because curses actually affect you, but because people's beliefs actually carry weight. And then once again, we get into the cycle. Oh wait, there's a curse. I don't want to be cursed. Okay, so I'm not going to believe that it's a curse. Okay, so you just nullify the belief by saying there's no curse. So the question is, are you nullifying all curses, or are you nullifying just this curse? So what you have to say is, in your head, you say, I'm nullifying his curse. He doesn't have power over me. So that's like an example on how to push away other realities, is you're acknowledging he believes it, therefore it could be in the collective unconscious somewhere. The records of mankind's memory, and therefore it could have an effect on me. But therefore I'm saying, I hereby eliminate the curse from my belief systems. And that's how you shift superstition away from you. Objectively speaking, though, is this necessary? Is someone else's belief system necessary? If someone believes that doing X, Y, and Z is dangerous, it can cause evil spirits to enter into you, or this or that, how do you process that? Do we understand that to be significant? So if you look at alcohol, people believe that alcohol brings in evil spirits, right? That's why it's called spirits. But then you have people that say alcohol brings in toxins. And that's why you need to go a couple days of just detoxing whatever went into your blood. So oftentimes when you have these curses, there's a rational explanation. Like if you go into a pharaoh's tomb, you're disrespecting the pharaoh. So you can look at the source for why it exists, and you can logically ascertain, okay, the premise of the curse is not even legitimate. So the premise of the curse of alcohol is you have a very strong liver. Okay, so the curse is not effective because you have a strong liver. Or if it's mediocre effective. And obviously the word curse is not applicable. It's more of a side effect of doing said action. I know in the Talmud, there's a thing that if you go near broken buildings, the reason why they can fall on you is because there's demons lurking among the ruins, and they cause the broken buildings to fall so as to hurt, to damage people, right? To get them injured. They're called mazikim, I think, but it sounds very similar to another Aramaic word, which means damages. So the damagers cause damages to people and demons. But obviously there's a dual facet. There's the negative thing of going into a dangerous place, and there's the belief system that people adopt to avoid negative mishap. And so oftentimes the stage purple identity, V memes, create these belief systems, right? They carry a value system to create these belief systems, because then you'll be safe from harm. And obviously they don't understand the workings of the sciences, so they create these belief systems. But later on, in later tiers, you realize that all realities are kind of true. And so you kind of adopt everything, or you're okay with adopting anything and everything. And then you wonder to yourself, I don't want bad things to happen to me. Can I just say it's not true and it's not true? So the way I understand it is you have to have some kind of methodical process to eliminating the belief system. So the way I said in the beginning of the video is you say, it doesn't apply to me, right? I nullify it. Why? Because my beliefs are overpowering. So there's a logical premise. Beliefs exist, but if you don't allow the belief to enter into your mind, it won't exist in your reality. There's also a logical premise of, the premise of the superstition doesn't apply, so therefore it's not going to affect me. So you have two ways of canceling out something that could have infringed into your reality so that you potentially adopt it yourself. And therefore those realities don't become relevant to you or for you. So the idea, the whole discussion is about how do we treat other religions' superstitions or other people's superstitions. Is there reason to fear? And it often comes down to a logical a very logical thing. If you choose not to go, if you believe, your religion believes that going to a cemetery at night is dangerous, right? Obviously there's a logical explanation for it. So either you can say, well, the logic doesn't apply, or you can say it going into a cemetery, it does apply, but I am putting myself in a different belief system, a different frame of reference where I am the creator of a new reality that doesn't apply to me. So therefore, your beliefs won't affect me. And then there's the problem of some presence, some souls, they have such a strong paradigm, and even their energy. Like I knew someone who has such a strong energy, my ears started ringing when he spoke to me because he's concentrated so hard. His brainwaves literally went into my brain. And that's how he got a photographic memory. He doesn't have one. He just created it by getting into this constant flow state. But the point is that that energy exists, and sometimes someone's energy is so strong, just by going into that location, it has a great impact. Like I went into a cemetery and I said, "Who is this rabbi? Who is this?" I forgot his. Shouldn't say that because he's famous. He wrote a bunch of Mishnahs. I said, "Who is this rabbi?" All of a sudden, I stepped on a not a nail, but a thorn. So the soul caused my mind to step on the thorn because it was upset at me. So I was already in the belief system of Judaism and all the Hasidut and all the Kabbalah that believed in the souls lingering and going to your souls or graves, and so that affected me. But if I separated myself from that belief system, it would have been different. At the same time, some souls are so strong in consciousness and strength, and that's often coupled with the fact that their followers believe in it. So there is a collective paradigm that gets retained by their followers. It's almost like children; their DNA is getting transferred through the belief system, and as such, just by people believing in it in the atmosphere, in the world at large, it could have an impact. Usually, they have to be around that vicinity. If there's no one left in that vicinity, it may not affect you. But the point is, the reality could still infringe on you, even if you say their reality doesn't affect me. As such, the belief systems, you may have to employ different tactics of how not to be affected by another reality, so as to stay in your own and to stay stronger than theirs. So I think that covers the subject matter at hand. It's very nuanced and important. This will be for later tiers, obviously, those who've reached coral and above, because stage coral is when you start adopting belief systems. That's it. You create belief systems. You'll be superstitious. You'll be paranoid about what people are trying to do. What do they actually believe? You'll see synchronicities that make you feel like, maybe he knows this. Maybe he read my mind. Maybe this. Maybe that. It's like just a state of confusion. And so past turquoise, you're going to actually coral, you're going to actually want to be interested in a video like this because you don't want their energy or their beliefs to infringe on you. Now, when you speak to someone in person, I'm not referring to that. There's an idea or there's a phenomenon where you speak to someone, their energy goes into you, right? That's something I'm not really dealing with. Although, as a stage Aubergine person, I'm slowly entering into Aubergine, so I'm holding at probably 40%, or a little bit more, and it fluctuates. That's how it works. So I'm basically an Aubergine. And what I notice is that I came across someone who's in stage red or who's currently bipolar and transitioning to turquoise. So all of a sudden my heart skipped a beat, like, oh my gosh, it's the devil again. Someone was like, no, who's very rigid and trying to protect his image. So if a stage Aubergine sees that, he'll be affected empathically. So stage Aubergine tends to avoid stage red and below. They won't avoid stage blue and above, but they will usually not like their ideas so much, so they'll mainly speak to later tiers. Now, stage Aubergine will say that I need to step away from this so they don't affect me, when in stage coral that existed too, just to a lesser degree. There was more competition, there was more hostility, there was more desire to outdo people, to win an argument, to win a game, to win something. And once you phase out of that, once you get into teal, that becomes less of a focus. So the empathy exists, but in stage teal, the empathy is passive. You don't care that someone has hostile emotions because you know that everyone will become the same eventually. If I don't talk to you, but I kind of talk to someone else, it'll create a feedback system where everyone is in sync with each other, is synchronized with each other. So they don't avoid people, but stage coral might avoid someone because you're stupid. Stage aubergine will avoid someone because I don't want that energy to go into me. There's a real phenomenon. You're too low in the spectrum to deal with. I'll let someone else deal with you. And that's how they deal with the empathy stuff. But the empathy is different from belief systems. I'm just talking about superstition and other beliefs, meaning the aubergine realizes that the stage purple belief system is just as valid as the stage clear belief system or the stage topaz belief system. And the next stage I started labeling is blue sapphire for after topaz. Maybe people have thrown these names around, but I just liked it. It made sense because, a bluish color corresponds maybe to turquoise. Even though turquoise is parallel to purple, I still felt that, unless someone else comes around and changes the name, I'm sticking with this for now. So this is primarily not about the energy, but the belief system. Stage aubergine's okay with all beliefs, and in fact, they have to create a system where belief systems are either true or not true. Maybe it's to protect their energy, or maybe it's to create a reality. I still haven't figured that out. Why am I so fixated on one reality, on making sure that something is not true versus true? So once you get into the next stage, you'll kind of look back like, oh, that's why I did that, because I was trying to protect myself in this way. So they're very open-minded and okay with all beliefs, going even to turquoise, even to purple and beige and red. But in terms of interaction, they're not going to be so interested in that, it seems. Okay, there you have the beliefs, and we touched upon some empathic phenomenon in later tiers. All the best.